right, Senator, he says 100% he's willing to testify under oath, and you say what?
Well, that was quite a surprise, but I say, great. Why doesn't he come and testify under oath? I think we want to get the truth out here. I do think, as you know, as someone who has practiced law for a significant period of time, that the special prosecutor, former Director Mueller, when he tries to get to the bottom of what went on here with Flynn and others, he's going to talk to other witnesses. It's not just going to be a he said situation in any of these investigations. There will be people that they spoke to at the time. There'll be evidence in writing. There'll be other things they'll be looking at. And, of course, the number one on our list would be the tapes. If those tapes do exist, and when the president said that we'll be disappointed, it seems like a little clue that maybe they don't exist.
Well, the tapes, of course, if they exist, would be fascinating to me, not just for what they would capture in terms of the Comey-Trump exchange, because it's sort of hard to determine intent for that, but it would be, if there are tapes, the tapes would probably be running after Comey left the room, and does President Trump say to the next person, well, I urged him to thoroughly get to the bottom of this, or does he say he didn't take the bait, he's not dropping it? I mean, so I would actually want the next set of tapes.
Exactly. So I have no idea if he's bluffing when he sent that tweet out a while back about the fact that there may be tapes, but that would be the most significant fact. But there's so many other things that they could be looking at when they look at this, the details here.
I was trying to think, how do you tell who's telling the truth? I mean, people in politics oftentimes take sides, but you were in the courtroom for a number of years. I mean, you try to figure out with the facts, and how do you determine intent? And one of the things that I would be curious is, I would like to hear the testimony of Senator DNI Coates and NSA Rogers, who wouldn't answer the question, because if they themselves had been pressured, at least in my mind, that would tend to show that it's possible that Comey was pressured. If they were not pressured, then I would be less inclined. Not completely either way, but they won't testify.
Well, exactly, and the former FBI Director Mueller is going to get to some facts that they wouldn't talk about in public. In fact, they probably have said things in classified briefings that the public doesn't know about now. So that is a factor if you've got a similar circumstance, but also the fact that he cleared the room. I mean, that's going to be easy enough to prove. Why did he clear the room? And so there's all of that circumstantial evidence that he will be looking at. But I think the bigger issue here, when you look at what is really going on here, besides the dramatic testimony of Jim Comey that we heard yesterday, and by the way, I thought my colleagues did a good job of keeping their cool and really kind of staying away from partisanship and did their jobs. Aside from that, we still have the issue of this major superpower in Russia that is trying to influence American elections and trying to intrude on what happened. So that part of the investigation is going to be very important, and it sometimes gets lost in all of the back and forth, and I don't think we want to forget that.
And, of course, you're going to have a chance to vote maybe on sanctions next week, and whether to up the sanctions against Putin and Russia, maybe to help them feel a little bit more pain. All right, you're on the Senate Judiciary Committee, and your committee has now asked, has written a letter, both, I think it's bipartisan, to the professor at Columbia who was sort of the cutout for former Director Comey. Former Director Comey wanted to get the information to the press. He didn't want to put his fingerprints on it, apparently, and he did it through a cutout. You now want that letter. Are you going to, that memo, if they have it, do you think you'll get them?
I would hope so. It doesn't contain classified information. I think a lot of it will have to do with whether or not the special prosecutor somehow wants to keep that evidence for a while within that investigation. But I just have no doubt that eventually those memos will be public, and the sooner the better from our perspective. Remember, we've asked to have Director Comey come before the Judiciary Committee. We certainly want to have Attorney General Sessions. So we need an oversight hearing, which we have all the time. They're routine with the Judiciary Committee and the Attorney General of the United States. We not only want to talk about his last appearance and his comments about not talking to anyone about Russia, but we also have issues like the changes with the refugee and the travel ban. We've got issues with criminal justice changes, the voting commission. There's all kinds of things, and he has not yet appeared before our committee.
All right. Putting back your lawyer hat back on, innocent people and guilty people both take the Fifth Amendment, and there's good reason for it. And I don't mean to suggest anything by the president. You know, I'll wait for the facts of the president. But what do you think his personal lawyer thought when he heard the president say that he'd 100% agree to testify under oath?
I have no idea. I just know that I have known Jim Comey for a long time, as you noted, since law school. I know that he's someone of integrity. I know that he knows what it means when he's under oath. I find him to be a cautious person. And so if the president goes under oath, then we'll have two different stories. But remember, that is never the end of it, because we certainly have other evidence as well that will come out.
What do you make of the fact, though, that he apparently disagreed with Attorney General Lynch in terms of how she interpreted the? He testified yesterday that she wanted him to refer to the Clinton investigation as a matter, and he wanted to refer to it as investigation, because apparently I think they have different versions of what happened.
Yeah, I know. I think she had a spokesperson come out with a different version today, so I don't know what the facts are. I just know that when he told that story, I thought about what he's like. He likes to go by the rule and have protocol, and obviously I didn't like how he handled the Hillary Clinton email investigation. I've made that very clear, including on your show. But nevertheless, that bothered him, and I think he was putting that forward to explain part of why he decided to go public and get so involved in this.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.